Tonight on the MTN 430 News, an inside look at the Yellowstone Valley Animal Shelter for the first time since an incinerator malfunctioned while burning seized methamphetamine.
It would be helpful if we could sit down together and have conversations.
We view it as part of our mission to provide those services to the city of Billings.
Crews are cleaning up the mess for a safe work environment, but leaders at the animal shelter say they don't plan to return for the time being. Plus, 24 days into the government shutdown and no end is in sight. We have more on what this could mean about your SNAP benefits during the month of November. And music is in the air.
A lot of music happens in 75 years.
The Billings Symphony is looking forward to spreading the sound of music as it celebrates its 75th season. The MTN 430 News starts right now. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm Mack Carmack. Some breaking news. Billings police are responding to reports of a body found in a field near Harvest Church on Wicks Lane in the Billings Heights. We'll have more information for you tonight at 5:30. The Yellowstone Valley Animal Shelter wants to continue providing services to the city of Billings, but not in the building that they had with the problems with the incinerator last month. City Administrator Chris Kukulski invited the media to walk through the original YVAS building to see what changes have been made since the September 10th incident that caused drug-laced smoke to sneak into the shelter. Kukulski says the city is following a Department of Environmental Quality decontamination plan to clean the facility on Monad Road and expects the building to be ready next month. But YVAS is already in the process of changing buildings. They've set up shelters around the city and county, including the Lionheart Warehouse. While YVAS has put in a bid to continue to provide animal control services until the end of the year, any future agreement with the city will not include working at the original location.
We've reached a point where that dialogue needs to happen face to face so that we can work through, what does the future look like?
We don't feel comfortable operating out of the facility on Monad. We do want to maintain that operational relationship with the city of Billings as far as caring for the animals in our community. So we're looking at those separately right now.
The city has had an open request out since July of this year, looking for other entities who might want to step in and handle shelter services. Those are due on December 5th. Leasing the animal control building on Monad is optional and not required to submit a proposal. It's now day 24 of the federal government shutdown, marking it the second longest shutdown in U.S. history. The longest shutdown came out of President Donald Trump's first administration back in December of 2018, which lasted almost 5 weeks. Today in Congress, though, negotiations are frozen and an increasing number of federal programs that Americans rely on are beginning to suffer, such as the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP. Those benefits are running out across the country at the end of this month. Scripps News Group congressional correspondent Nate Reed reports the latest.
The government shutdown now slated to enter a 5th week after the Senate left Washington for a long weekend without any deal to end the stalemate. No end in sight to the ongoing government shutdown, as millions of Americans could soon be left without their critical food assistance benefits. Dozens of states announcing that SNAP funding could run dry as soon as November 1st, leaving congressional Democrats with a difficult choice. Keep up the fight for expanded Affordable Care Act subsidies, which are slated to expire at the end of the year and could cause millions of Americans to lose their health insurance, or vote with Republicans to reopen the government, ensuring millions keep their food assistance benefits. Already, some indications on Capitol Hill, the incoming SNAP cliff may cause Democrats to change their tune. When a couple dozen states have SNAP benefits expire come November 1st, does that change the calculus for Democrats?
Well, it concerns me because in Illinois there are 1.9 million who receive SNAP, and if we don't get this resolved by November 1st, there's a question as to whether they'll get any payment at all.
So would you vote? Would you change your vote? Would you vote to reopen the government if SNAP is going to expire?
We'll see.
It's not yet clear if food assistance will be the issue that ends the shutdown, but another attempt to lessen the pain of the shutdown failing on Thursday. A bill championed by Republicans led by Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin to pay essential federal employees who've been reporting to work through the shutdown without pay, blocked by Democrats. The minority party arguing the bill gave the Trump administration too much authority over who would get checks and would leave hundreds of thousands of furloughed federal workers unpaid. Senator Johnson saying he's willing to work with Democrats to reach a compromise, possibly as soon as next week. Would you support bills to pay all furloughed federal employees?
That's right. Again, I went down the floor and presented my most nonpartisan self, told them I went down there in good faith. The fact of the matter is, I saw Senator Van Hollen's bill earlier today. I laid out their three differences. They're not that big. They're not insurmountable. So I talked to both Senator Van Hollen and Senator Peters. We'll get our staffs working on this and see if we can iron out differences, and maybe we can come to an agreement next week.
But even if some federal workers get their checks, the prospect of millions of Americans experiencing a gap in food assistance programs could prove to be the issue that breaks this nearly month-long stalemate on Capitol Hill. Nathaniel Reed, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Each day that the government shutdown continues, nonprofits grow more and more concerned. The National Council of Nonprofits works with about 33,000 nonprofits across the country. They say they've been hearing from various organizations that are unable to access federal funding, which they would typically use to serve their communities. As we extend 24 days of a shutdown, many nonprofits are struggling, especially when their budgets were already tight to begin with.
Many of them are facing very tough choices about cutting back on the services that they provide, laying off staff, and even closing their doors. And once that infrastructure is gone, it's very hard to turn it back online. These organizations often are operating with shoestring budgets. They're making every dollar stretch, so they don't have a financial cushion to keep them going when there's a government shutdown.
The National Council of Nonprofits recommends donating your time to nonprofits in your community. Being an elected official or a community board can be stressful between budget planning, personal decisions, and policy making. But one Great Falls City Commissioner had to contact authorities after encountering a situation that crossed the line. Great Falls Commissioner Shannon Wilson recently received a threatening email claiming that the user had her home address and that she should be afraid. The message was signed by a user claiming to be Charlie Kirk. Wilson reported the incident to the Great Falls Police Department, who determined the email was sent overseas by a proxy server. The Great Falls Police Department said that Wilson made the right decision by filing a report, even though the email threat did not rise to the level of a criminal offense. The sound of music is flourishing here in downtown Billings, and it's been that way since May of 1951. In celebration of its 75th season, the Billings Symphony is holding a concert this Saturday night at the Alberta Bear Theater. MTN's Vanessa Willardson takes us behind the stage, where dozens of musicians are getting ready for the big night.
A big birthday for the Billings Symphony, entertaining the Billings community for 75 years this season.
A lot of music happens in 75 years.
These impactful sounds come from the second oldest symphony in the state. Butte has been around just 1 year longer.
Think about the scale of the entire world and all the music that happened in the 75 years the Billings Symphony has existed. It's infinity.
For musicians such as principal violist Samantha Inez, that means this season will start off a bit differently.
There's so much. It's hard to put it all in one season and in one concert.
With a performance commemorating 75 years of music Saturday night.
It's about distilling everything that has happened in the world musically while the Billings Symphony has been in existence, all down into one.
For music director Ann Harrigan, this is an especially emotional year. This is her 22nd and final year conducting.
The time has gone by so quickly, and there's always another thing to do. And so it doesn't feel like 22 years, it feels like just a couple years.
For quite some time, Harrigan knew she wanted to retire after the season of the 75th anniversary.
I had planned the 75th season with that in mind, and then I started doing the math and realizing it was also going to be my year for retiring.
With different pieces representing each decade, this concert has been several years in the making.
And we're also going to be accompanied by images that we've been collecting all summer, which is pictures from the 1950s, 60s, 70s of Billings Symphony, of all the people that were around to support the orchestra, and things that happened around the world too. And I feel like everybody's had a heightened sense of emotion. It's been a lot of fun.
In Billings, Vanessa Willardson, MTN News.
And good Friday afternoon, everyone. It's been a beautiful Friday for much of southeastern Montana. Some high, thin cirrus clouds, but that's really about it. But you can see that there are changes on the left side of your screen. Cold front moving our way, pushing through central Washington right now, but it won't take long before it gets to western Montana. So by late tonight through early tomorrow, we'll already have some areas of rain in far western Montana, and that storm system is moving our direction. So I'm keeping my eyes on a lot more things as we head into the final full weekend of October. Hard to believe we only have 7 days left. Mostly clear and cool overnight tonight. We'll have increasing clouds and some gusty wind on Saturday, but windier west of Billings and more wind and isolated showers. I'll have your forecast coming up.